Good morning and welcome to the Up Zone where understanding politics is made simple. We are your two hosts, Mr. Elmer Floyd, former House Representative for the 43rd District in the state of North Carolina, and myself, Tisha S. Waddell, former City Council Representative for the 3rd District in the city of Fayetteville. We are in winter weather conditions today. And yesterday we were too. Mr. Floyd, what is going on with this friggin' weather? Some of my friends are thrilled because they finally got snow.
Geez, I don't know. The whole community shut down because we got a half inch or maybe an inch and a
Rightfully
half.
so.
I know the whole community just shut down. I mean, and I was talking to some of my friends, across the country. They said, "You got what?"
Yeah. But now, and let me say this because my mother is from Buffalo, New York, and anybody who knows Buffalo, New York understands the types of snow conditions that they get in Buffalo. We are not criticizing, and I'm so sick of people that criticize. We're not criticizing the amount of snow that shuts this city down because, Mr. Floyd, we're not equipped to handle this.
Well, Teach, we're not like now. If you go towards Florida, it's something different. They don't usually get this kind of weather. But in North Carolina, we do have some equipment to
A little bit.
yeah. I mean, what you got to look at. The first priority is to the interstate, and then
Right.
the state highway, and then your community.
Here and those secondary roads are not top priority. So if you're talking about somebody trying to get out of their neighborhood that is tree lined and the sun doesn't hit their street, you're pushing it because their streets are ice still right now.
Yes. So it's we we're not used to driving in it. People up north, it's just another day for them.
It's a skill set.
Yeah, that's another day for them. I mean, many, and then too, if it snow, you got to looking at a different route than what your normal route would be. A
Right.
route with more traffic, where someone give you the assistance that they go first and you go second.
Right.
That's my philosophy. When I go out, I'm going the road that's most traveled, that somebody
Absolutely.
has helped me, you know, prior to me getting on
Break
the
this
road.
road down for me right
Yes,
fast.
yes, they have
Don't
broken.
let me be the first one on this road.
So that's what that's
Right.
what that. But we as an example, the county is going to open their offices at 10 o'clock today. So that means that they're allowing their workers a little bit more time to get into the organization to provide the services to the
Right.
community, which is understandable. We're in the South, and we just at
Say it
eight
again,
o'clock.
Mr. Floyd. We are in the South. Contrary to what it might look like outside that window, we
Yeah,
are in the South.
it's the South. So that's how we operate. The schools do the same thing. You know, it's a safety method that they
Right.
look at. But out of North Carolina is different. But that's just one of the announcements that we have. But there's going to be also a Project First Start meeting, and that's going to be February the 10th at the Social Service Building.
Talk about that. What is Project First Start?
Project First Start is a program that Commissioner Evans has put in place to help those individuals who are trying to return back into the community that was separated because of legal action, if you understand what I mean.
This helps incarcerated people. Is this the expungement program that
That's part of it. The expungement program is different. First Start look at those individuals who need the assistance. The expungement clinic look at low level misdemeanor and low level felonies.
okay.
That's qualified for that expungement
So if
clinic.
if you've been previously incarcerated and you've got a record and you'd like some help getting
Yeah,
back on your feet, this may be
yeah,
something that you wish to attend. When is that taking
and
place?
it's free. Now that's the expungement clinic, but Project First Start is a different one. They provide other assistance to the person who who I would say that does not meet the expungement that
Right.
needs some assistance. Then for his employment and
Mhm.
those kinds of things. Then that's what Project First Start
When
do.
is that
But
taking
it is
place?
a component. It is a component of the expungement clinic, which when we look at it and what we look at is that we have a lot of people who, and young people don't understand it, that at an early age they commit these crimes. Okay, with homeboy, and then as they get older, they realize that they have made a mistake. But that
Absolutely.
mistake that they have made have a long, long effect on their life for their
Absolutely.
housing, their school, and their employment, and all of those things. So many times, if they can get their record expunged, they can get a college degree, they can move into a good house, and they can get good jobs, and they can
Absolutely.
provide, income to their family. So it's a good program. And I think over the last years that it's been in existence, over 1,200 individuals have received, expungement free.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to pay for it, you're talking about anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000 to get an attorney to to do that. But bear in mind now, the expungement have to be you have to have a judge, and
Mm-hmm.
it also have to have the SBI to check that person a criminal record to see if they have anything that may prevent them from receiving an expungement. So
Okay.
you have a lot of organizations working together: legal aid, the district attorney office, a judge signing off on it, the SBI. So it's not just a guarantee; it's a process that may
Mhm.
take 6+ months, but it's free.
Right. So now, when is Project First Place taking place, Mr. Floyd?
That's February the 10th at 8 a.m. at the Social Service Department building. Uh, uh, some say Hillsborough Street, some say Ramsey Street.
Okay.
So it's on the first floor there. And
Okay.
then the second one is the red and white ball that activity that the Vets Unlimited have, and that's going to be at the Shriners Club in Hope Mill. They use that as a fundraiser to assist individuals. They use it for a fundraiser to help high school students attend college. They give scholarships,
Okay.
and as you know, the Martin Luther King parade has been canceled. I mean, well, have been rescheduled to
Mm-hmm.
a date sometime in February. But they're also going to have a banquet that's going to be February the 27th at the Metropolitan room there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, those are the activities that we have, and that people that wish to attend these activities, if they will contact the organization, they can get the price of those tickets and more detailed information.
Absolutely. And also, while we are at it, let's go ahead and let's announce the inauguration that recently took place of our 47th president, President Donald J. Trump. He took office on Monday and got right to the business of being the 47th president of the United States. And so I would like to take a moment and just congratulate both he and his vice president on their inauguration, to congratulate both Kamala Harris and Joe Biden on the completion of their term as president and vice president, to wish them well in their future endeavors and to wish them rest. Mr. Floyd, you know as I know that when you leave the public office, it's quite a shift. Your
It's
your your schedule changes. The volume of phone calls that you're receiving changes, and you can either enter into rest, or you can enter into, and not the Lord's rest, not the final rest, but you can either
it's
rest, or
it's a
you can
sense of
become
peace.
very, yeah, or you can become very restless, trying
Yeah,
to fill that void. And my hope is that they will find rest, and that whatever is next for them will come to them with ease.
but
Go
if
ahead.
you've been elected official and you're no longer in that capacity, it's a sense of joy.
It depends on how you left, though, Floyd, because you know, as I know, that when people still want to be there, there's discontentment. Now, when you leave and you're good with being gone, yeah, there's rest and peace.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at it, and any person teach when you bring that subject up, nobody really recognize what you have done.
That's right.
You know,
Or the toll that it takes.
yeah, they they don't, they don't see that. And this community, because I live in this community, is the best for recognizing that.
Mr. Mr. Floyd, what you mean by that? Tell me what you mean by that.
I mean, you know, we elect you to serve in their absence because you are part of an organization or part of a group. And some kind of way, appreciation is not given when you are willing to negotiate or to bring those resources to your community.
I know what you
So,
mean.
you look at it and some, but you know what else is the thing that bothered me about politics is that the people that you think that know don't know,
Don't have a
have
clue.
no clue.
They don't have a clue, Mr.
But
Floyd.
that they, I mean, that they know all of these things, and I was just surprised if not moving away from the subject
No,
matter,
you're good.
but one person that we had to file campaign reports,
Hmm.
okay, and this person that was filing, that was the treasurer for individuals, has been treasurer for numerous of nonprofit organizations.
Right.
And the person said that I'm gonna have to go back and refile those reports because there was a lot of mistakes.
Hmm.
But I mean, I was led for years that this person was a CPA for his bookkeeping for a nonprofit organization, but only to find out that this person said that they're gonna have to go back and amend reports.
Hmm.
So, but again, you get the perception that they know, and find out, lo and behold, Tish, they don't.
Well, it's the same thing with the politicians. And Mr. Floyd, I was talking to somebody recently, and then we'll jump into the program. But I was talking to someone recently, and we were talking about how when you enter into certain spaces, you begin to realize that the people around you in these spaces are idiots. And that they have
I'll
made it into these spaces by virtue of being able to be popular, not by virtue of being able to be good at what
That's
it is
it.
that they're there to
That's
do.
it.
Yeah,
That's it. And
yeah.
you find out that even once they get in there, they begin to find out, you know,
It's more
I'm
to
really
it than
not
what.
that smart.
Yeah. or or Mr. Floyd, because that for me, that was the revelation that I had when I got into office. I said, wow, I'm really not as smart about these things as I thought I was. I really better do
Mm.
some work to learn how to do this. So you either have that moment or you have the moment where you go, I got it. I'm good.
Well, Tish, I tell you what,
I'm gonna do whatever.
my thing is when I went to Raleigh. Now, and we're gonna get back to our subject
Mhm.
matter, is that uh they wanted to toll I-95, which is the eastern part of the state where you have less industry,
Yeah.
and they want to put up toll gates.
Mr. Floyd,
Oh,
why didn't you guys make 295 a toll route? What that's such a missed opportunity.
well, Tish, let me answer you this question right here then. And let me answer your question with a question then. Why don't we toll I-40 just at exit 312?
I think 295. Listen, I think the all of 295 should have been a part of a toll route. And then look, as we begin the discussion, and I know this is not necessarily the first item on city business, but as we look at the item of business that's talking about I-85, I-685 potentially running into 295, now it makes sense that you have 295 as a toll route that touches 685 as a toll route. Because Floyd, the reality is those of us who live here, just like when I travel to Houston or I go to Austin, I'm a transplant. My family's from Houston, my daddy's people, and we know folks in Austin, but the reality, I'm sorry, Dallas, but when we go there, I take the toll routes because I want the most direct point. I don't want to have to figure out which feeder street to get on and get off. That's too much work for me. But if you from here, you're going to take the route that is the cheapest for you if that's what you want to do.
I agree with you, Chief. If I'm going to Durham, for instance, in order for me to get to Durham, I would have to
I
take
take
I
both
two.
routes.
I had to take I-295 going east.
Right.
Then I would have to take 95 going north, and I would have to take 40 going west.
Or you
So
just go 420. What is that? 421?
I go through Sanford
Yes.
and then jump on 540
And hit
and
them
pay the
tolls
toll
and you done with it.
and pay
But
the
see,
toll.
but Floyd, but we choose to do that because we have an alternate route, but we choose the toll route because it saves us time, which ultimately, in our opinion, saves us money. I just think 295 is a missed opportunity. I've said this since I sat on
Well,
295
well,
with
see,
ribbon cutting.
I had no objection of me and some other colleagues, but my other colleagues on the Democrat side had a problem with it. I had no problem with tolling I-95
Yeah,
if they leave the existing two lanes open because they're already paid for by tax dollars.
right.
If you want to toll, you toll the two new lanes in which you want to run four lanes throughout the state.
Yes.
But we was able to prevent that because you were talking about maybe $16 to $20 in toll, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you look at Virginia, you look at South Carolina. Do I stop at North Carolina to gas up that has a higher gas price tax, or do I
If
gas
you
up?
need gas, you do. If you need gas, you do. And your car determines when you need gas, not nothing else.
But I'm
Your
looking at the
car's
price though.
loyalty.
It's cheaper in South. The gas tax in South Carolina is cheaper than in North
But
Carolina.
if you don't have enough gas to make it to South
But
Carolina, you're
but I'm
pulling up to
planning,
North
Teach. I'm
Carolina.
planning. I'm
Mr.
planning.
Floyd, you're giving people too much credit.
No, I'm planning. Teach. I'm looking at the gas in Virginia. I'm gonna gas up in Virginia, and then I'm gonna skip over North Carolina, which is 187 miles and 97
You
miles.
giving
I'm
people
gonna
too
gas up in
much
South
credit.
Carolina. Huh?
You giving people too much credit.
I'm gonna gas up in South Carolina. I mean, I can save $4 or $5.
Well, as
But
we're talking about the introduction of I-685, one of the things to note is that it could significantly impact our community by improving transportation infrastructure, reducing travel times, and potentially stimulating economic growth through better connectivity. But it may also raise concerns regarding environmental effects and displacement, necessitating thorough community engagement and transparent planning process. Mr. Floyd, question: what is the conversation as you understand it about I-685?
well, geez, let's look at what they are planning. And basically, it's part of following 421.
Mm-hmm.
And so you already have from Sanford to Greensboro nonstop,
Absolutely.
nonstop from Sanford to Greensboro. So you're gonna run a road, interstate parallel with that, okay? And then you're gonna run it through. The proposed is that you're gonna run it down to Dunn, North Carolina, which is in Harnett County. Now the alternative is they say they want to push it over just a little bit to help Fayetteville. Let me explain to you. This is a overlooked community for capital projects and infrastructure.
But let's talk about why that is because when 95 was being discussed, how did we end up, Mr. Floyd, with the newest highway not running through? You're laughing.
See, you know, going back to Greensboro, going from Greensboro to Winston-Salem, Department of Transportation said there was too many interchanges and were causing too many accidents.
Yeah, but let's
That
tell the
was
truth of the matter. There was an elected official who was pissed off with Cumberland County and said, "We're not doing that."
well, after you fight me for 20 years, and that's what we did with I-95, and they looked at what you just read, which is the most quickest and feasible way, which pushed I-95 7 miles outside of the city. But Teach, the thing about it, they wanted to run I-95 over 301. I-95, a interstate over the existing 301.
Which elected official was it that nailed the put the nail in the coffin on 95 running through our community?
Was that Rose?
I can't remember. That's why I'm asking you. You tell me. But I this is how I remember because when I went on council, it's still a sore subject for the Fayetteville City Council, the members who have been there long enough to remember this conversation. And apparently this elected official was like, screw them. They've screwed us. They're not getting it. And that's why we don't have it.
Well, Tish, we have not been privileged to, like I said, we have been what I prefer to as an OLC. And what this
What's that
I
OLC? Tell the people what the OLC means.
OLC is overlooked community. We have always been that for its
But
infrastructure.
that's
If
because we
you look
that's
at it,
because we keep picking elected officials who permit that to happen.
but when we look at it, I know we talk about I-685, but Tish, how can we get to our major cities from Fayetteville, which is Charlotte?
Mr. Floyd, getting to Charlotte, you back roading it all the way to Charlotte
Well,
until you
how
get to
I,
74.
well, how I back now, how I go to Charlotte now, Tish, you might not agree with me, Tish, but I go through Sanford.
Again, yes, you and then you go through Uwari, but you back roading it again.
No,
Yeah.
no, I go through Sanford and catch what is it, 85 in Greensboro, uh, you
Okay.
know, and bypass it and then come around.
Okay.
I mean, it's another 20 to 25 minutes, but my God, I don't have the gas to stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. So we can't get to Charlotte, which is our major. We can't get to Wilmington. We can't get to our capital.
Because Wilmington, you back roading it. You going down 87 to get to Wilmington.
Yeah, until
Yeah,
you get to 74, and
right.
you might be blessed when you get to 74 and make that left hand turn.
Right.
We don't, we, like you said, but the key thing to this 685 is the Fayetteville Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Which we do have a council liaison on FAMPO. There's a member of and I don't know who it is now. I know it used to be Larry Wright when I was on the board, but we should have a liaison that directly communicates with FAMPO, and their role is to lobby for this project to be allocated into our community.
But you have to, it's all right to be appointed teacher, but you have to attend.
Are you indicating that our representative
No,
is?
I'm not saying anything.
Oh,
I'm not saying anything, but you have to attend these meetings in order to have input. When you look at Hope Mill and you look at the roads that Eddie Deese, which was the former mayor, which was a part of the Metropolitan Planning
right.
Organization, look at the roads that he got built around Hope Mill, which is going to grow Hope Mill much faster.
Oh, absolutely. Hope Mills will be like Cary.
Yes,
Hope Mills
yes.
will end up being like the Cary of the area.
So that's the problem that we have, Tish, when we look at infrastructure, and it goes about how strong we are from a political standpoint point of view. But
You
bear
know
in mind,
what Hope Mills' biggest their biggest objection to growth is going to be and objective, and I think this may be the case, Mr. Floyd, with most municipalities. Their biggest objective to growth is going to be the naysayers who don't understand the process of them growing.
well,
There's a
well,
Facebook group for Hope Mills, and then people complain so much in that. I'm in there. They put me in there when I was an elected official because I guess they wanted me to wait. I just watch. They may have forgotten I'm even in there because I don't say anything. They complain about everything, Floyd.
they want to, they want to remain. One of the problems that we have here in Cumberland County is that they still want to be remain as a tobacco road community.
But Mr. Floyd, is there anything wrong with that? Because I'm of the mindset that if that's what the community wants, why are we, if these are your taxpayers and this is what they want, why are you pushing for them to be more than that?
Well, Tish, now remember now, I know I give you a whole lot of thoughts there. Hope County is a fast bedroom community.
What does that mean?
They don't have the industries. Okay, so you want to provide services. It take more than your property taxes paid by homeowners.
Right.
Okay, you're gonna have to have businesses to come in that is going to pay larger property tax. It's going to high and going to make sure that the community grows. Now, there's no point in you trying to get a Fortune 500 community when you only have apartments. Okay,
Yeah.
it's it's hard to do. So growth is going to come, Tish. It's inevitable that
And
it's
so
going to
what
come.
people should probably do is in understanding that, make sure that you are prepared if that's not the kind of community you want to live
But if you
in.
don't have,
Be
but like I
prepared to
said,
move.
you're gonna have to have what? You're gonna have to have water, gas, and some energy source.
Right.
Okay, and that's what business look for. Right? You
Yeah.
cannot want your children to stay in a community that's still paying $7.25 an hour.
Right. Well,
It's
Mr.
just
Floyd,
not gonna stay.
let me ask you this question. While we're talking about development, let's shift gears to talk about Locks Creek. So, the Locks Creek and Cedar Creek neighborhoods in Fayetteville have experienced recurrent flooding during heavy rains and hurricanes. And in response, city engineers have proposed a stormwater infrastructure project that's estimated at $8.8 million. Now, this initiative includes raising Locks Creek Road by 1.5 to 2 feet. So, that's about that much,
Mhm.
and converting the existing culvert on NC 53 to a concrete box culvert, aiming to mitigate roadway flooding for up to a 50-year storm event. However, however, that's just roadway flooding.
Mhm.
Mr. Floyd, what is the real issue in Locks Creek and Cedar Creek neighborhoods when it comes to flooding? Is it roadway flooding?
No,
What is it?
I'm gonna say it's property.
Their
The
houses
area-
are flooding.
But if you're gonna invest $8.8 million
But this
to
is my thing.
continue to have the
Just to
flooding,
keep the road clear, that water still has to go somewhere, which means that that's going to push more water into the homes.
because I believe now, Tisha, if you're gonna raise it that high, the land, the road itself is gonna have to be slanted towards the
That's right. And
houses.
water runs the path of least resistance.
Yeah. And it's gonna
So it
run.
doesn't go up, it's going to run down, which means it's going to create more flooding issues for the residents. Now, here's the issue. The Fayetteville City Council, as the elected governing body, approved the design phase of the flooding mitigation plan for Locks Creek in April of 2022. Now, the city's public service department, they made the comment. What did they say? This is like putting a, did they say a straw in the middle of the ocean?
Yes.
That to me is very telling, Mr. Floyd, because if I'm going to spend $8.8 million, I don't want it to be because I'm putting a straw in the middle of the ocean, because that to me says this is an ineffective resolution for the problem at hand.
But Tish, but when you look at it, Tish, you know, you, I had to look at it from a standpoint of view is that the staff said to the community, it's not going to address your problem.
It's not. It's not at all, because we
At
have an
least
issue
the
in
staff
our
was being honest and transparent.
I can appreciate that, but here's the problem. We have the development of the mayors that has been approved in
But
this
Tish,
area.
Tish, the mayor said that they have a plan for Lock Creek.
This was the plan, Mr. Floyd.
I'm just saying the mayor said they had a plan for
This
Lock
was
Creek,
the
and
plan,
it's
and
eight point
this should
eight
raise
million dollars. This is the $8 million in
this
which
should raise questions, because this was the plan.
but he said we have a plan for Lock Creek. And the staff said that it is not going to address the problem.
Not.
And anybody know anything about road construction know that if you're gonna raise anything, a road is gonna have to slant left and right. It's
Yeah.
just not gonna go straight up. Even if it went straight up, the water gonna run down and then go towards the property.
Right.
But I like the staff. It's not going to solve your problem.
I really listen. I have always had so much respect for the city manager's office and the city manager staff. This goes back to what we talked about you don't have to be smart to get elected, you just have to be popular. But the smart kids on the city council understand that the people who went to school and got degrees to be able to do this work, city staff, are the ones that you need to surround yourself with so that you can be intelligent as you do your job. I've always appreciated the way that our city staff, for the vast majority of the part, did their job. Mr. Floyd, this is an example of, if the community ain't paying attention right now, will they ever? Because these folks done told you, we about to do this. It ain't gonna fix your problem, but
Yeah.
here's what it is.
I mean, what they're saying is that the water, I would just imagine, and I'm not nowhere near an engineer. I
Yeah,
know when they run the water into the Cape Fear River, that it go into like a straight pipe, that it goes in, and then the water coming what I'm gonna say north or northeast or northwest, is that the water that's coming off this road, it's gonna have to slow down. It's going to be forced to slow down, which is going to back the water back up into the neighborhood.
right.
That it probably can't do it. That if instead of the pipe running straight into the river, that the pipe will curve to the right, and then it won't be as forceful because it can meet the water instead of it running straight and then have to wait its turn to make a right hand turn.
So here's the beauty of what I see this project being able to accomplish. When, not if, but when your home floods in this area, you will have a clear road with which to be able to get out of the area as long as you can start your car because it's not flooded out.
Okay, Natish, now you're right, but my home is then in a valley.
And is damaged again. And if what we see happening in California is any indicator, I am most certain that these homes in this area are no longer qualifying for flood insurance.
Well,
Or if they get it, it is extremely expensive.
yes, and then again, Tish, I love the way the staff presented it. You may beat the staff, but they said this is what we suggest, but it will not solve your problem. But we are going to let an $8.8 million contract go out.
And that's a lot of money for a city that has to make up a $10 million deficit in their budget based upon the county's reallocation of tax dollars. But I do want to give kudos to former Councilwoman Shakila Ingram, who during her time on council, while I was there, so I can speak directly to this, brought before the council a proposal to do a moratorium on development in that area based upon these flooding issues. It was shot down quickly. The council did not support her, but this is an example of why building in this area is maybe not best practice.
Only thing I'm saying to you, Tish, is that one time the gentleman said to the guy who had a conversation with a city council member, you need to talk with my attorney.
Talk to my attorney. That was, and as a reminder, because I'm not gonna let the people forget. As a reminder, that was Councilman DJ Hare's response to the guy who accused him of pay to play with that seat when it came to the demolition of the property. Now, Mr. Floyd, we also see that the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office is facing significant shortages with 96 vacancies out of 162 positions at the county jail. 96 vacancies out of 162. Let me say this again. That means they have more vacancies.
Yes.
They have a higher percentage of vacancies than filled positions at the county jail. This is not the time to go to county. This is not the time to go to county jail. And an additional 77 unfilled sworn law enforcement officer roles. To address this issue, the county is considering funding, hiring bonuses to attract new deputies and detention officers. I need to say this again. I need y'all to hear me. Out of 162 positions at the county jail, there are 96 unfilled positions, 96 vacancies.
Well, Tish, now you see why the sheriff said he can no longer provide these services.
Mr. Floyd, that means they only got about 60 something people out of 160 something people at the jail. Yes,
That's why
I see why he can't do it. We're strapped for people.
that's what I'm saying. So that's why he said he can no longer provide this service, but everybody wants to knock him over the head. But the numbers speak for themselves. Now they want to do this $350,000 to give to the sheriff
And
to
that's
do
what
the
we're talking
recruitment.
about, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners, because they are the elected governing body that is responsible for approving budget allocations, including potential funding for hiring bonuses aimed at addressing staffing shortages in the sheriff's office. Go ahead.
But when you look at it, Teach, now they look at employment and retention. Now, Teach, now in Sanford, North Carolina, which is up the highway, starting salary is around 51,000. And when you look at Rocky Mount, right up 95 is 68,000, and Greensboro, which is right up 421, is 59,000.
And Sanford
And
and
you look
Rocky Mount are smaller communities with higher
at
pay. Go ahead, sir.
the sheriff is hovering around 42. And so,
What is
and
that?
we're talking about, and we're talking about uh, one part of the community say defund the police, okay? And now I'm not part of that community,
Me
teacher.
neither, Mr.
Yeah,
Floyd.
I'm
Fund
not.
the police.
Fund them, yeah. Fund them, and fund them.
Fund them. Yes.
You
Yes.
see, so when you look at 42,000 in a young person who going into law enforcement, that after I'm talking about at age 21, whatever age that is, and I can drive myself to Sanford and make $9,000 more, and I can go to Rocky Mountain and make $18,000 more. Come on,
Yes.
salary, and not only salary teaching that they are facing, that is some officer need daycare, and they complain about the daycare for their children is just as high as going on the open market.
Mm-hmm.
And so the county need to take a in-depth look at their salary and also their daycare that's going to attract the officer. Now, bear in mind now, the money is going to come from the recovery. So, it's not that it's coming from the general fund.
Well, and this is the reason it's a bonus and not an increase in salary, because when you have money that is not a part of your general operating budget, you cannot make salary increases because that's something that you have to be able to sustain year after year. But you can offer a bonus because that's one and done. But what happens when the bonuses dry up? Well, look no further than Cumberland County School Board to see what happens when the bonuses dry up. Because remember, we reported a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago now, that the school board is not in a position, now that that ARPA money is drying up, they're not in a position to offer these bonuses, these retention bonuses to the teachers. So what is that going to look like when it's
Tish,
time to go into the next year for hiring?
it's already there, Tish.
It's already there.
It's already there, Tish. If you just mentioned how many vacancies?
At the for the sheriff's office,
Yes.
96 out of 162.
So you look at that 96 as salary lag. Okay.
Because they
So
said I can go somewhere else and do this job and make more money and have less work.
but at the same time, if you got 90 plus vacancies,
You
that
got
means
one
that
person
90,
doing two people's job.
yeah, but you
They
also
have to.
got money set aside because those vacancies are not
Are
filled.
not filled.
So
Yeah.
so the money is there. And and you're not going to fill
Wait,
all
wait,
of
wait,
the
Mr. Floyd. Stay right there. Stay right there. Because you just said something that made me think. Because these positions, this 162 positions,
Mhm.
they're funded in the budget.
Yes.
The 162 positions are funded in the
For
budget,
the
but
yes.
they're not being paid because there's nobody in those positions. So maybe you take 30 of those positions and do away with them for now and absorb that into salaries on an ongoing basis for the other people left
You
behind.
don't have to do that, Tish. The money is appropriated,
Oh, because
but it's
it's every year, it's just sitting, collecting.
just sitting.
I'm with you. I'm with
It's just
you.
sitting. It's just sitting. And you're not gonna fill 100% of those vacancies at any given time during the year. It's not gonna be
So are
100%.
you saying that there needs to be a study done to see? I hate all these studies because I think all you gotta do is look and see. But are you saying that there needs to be a study done to look and see how much of the vacancy money has just sat, and then to begin reallocating that, and to start kind of repositioning these numbers to make it make
That's
sense?
all. That's all you got to do, Teach. The
That makes
money is already there. The staff can tell you how much those positions, salary is appropriate, and how much is spent, and how much can be transferred, and then that money can also, for like a word, now temporarily in reserve. So each year there's gonna be a salary lag.
yeah.
So so for us, looking at where we gonna find the money is already there.
Well, and Mr. Floyd, let's be honest. Staffing shortages in the sheriff's office impact our public safety because it impacts response times, overall community trust in law enforcement, and as we can see, it removed the SROs from the school system and created a whole hubbub. And now we have somebody talking about wanting to centralize the city schools under the city because of what, as a result of lack of
Teach,
staffing.
teach, teach. We talked about this, last week. But
Uh-huh.
do you want to inherit a multi-billion-dollar industry? Okay.
Without the billions of dollars
Yes.
to
So,
accompany it.
I mean, come on. And you talking about because
Because
now that
them county commissioners, they smart. They'll give you the problem, but they won't give you the funding.
I give you, I give you the school, and I said on the air that if I was on the county board of commissioners and you asked me,
You
I
can,
would gladly vote
yeah,
to turn the school system over.
unanimously. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a discussion. I just need to see it on the agenda.
That's it.
Okay,
Talk for
but
what? Y'all got it.
that means that the city taxpayer is going to see some increase in their fees. Okay,
We'll go with fees. You know,
yeah,
I'm gonna call it a tax. A tax is a tax is a tax.
so in order to fund the schools, okay. Now, what I explained is that when we look at these resource officers, if they're in high schools, the states pay 100%. If they're in junior high, they're prorated. If
Right.
they're in elementary school, then the county would have to fund 100%. So you only had to fund a little bit of these officers. And
Yeah.
you talking about you want your own school system?
A hot mess. But
Yeah.
but listen though, Floyd, while we talking about the school system, there's an upcoming meet and greet for the Cumberland County Board of Education, which blows my mind. It's blowing my mind. When I saw this article, I was like, what? Because you never see the Board of Education subject themselves to the scrutiny of the public. Well, here's your opportunity, public, to scrutinize your Board of Education. Be kind when you do it, because listen, y'all don't know what goes into doing these jobs. This gathering is going to provide an opportunity for residents to interact directly with board members, to discuss educational concerns and gain insight into the board's initiatives. Remember, one of the initiatives of the board right now is to appoint a new superintendent. It's a good time to go and talk to your board of education. Mr. Floyd, this meet and greet is going to comprise all 9 of the members of the board who oversee the county's public education system. As a reminder to our audience, their responsibilities include setting educational policies, approving budgets, and ensuring the academic success of students. What are your thoughts about this activity that's coming
I
up?
just had one.
Huh?
I just had one.
What is that?
Where's it located at?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. So this meet and greet is going to be, I think, wasn't it at the Kiwanis?
Yes.
Okay, it's at the Kiwanis on Honeycutt. You need to RSVP. You have to confirm your attendance by it's open to the public, it's free to attend. You have to confirm your attendance by January 24th to secure your spot at the event.
And it's gonna be where?
At the at
That's
Honeycutt at the Kiwanis.
okay. That's my answer.
What does that mean, Mr. Floyd?
That's just my answer.
Where do you think it should be?
Now I'm just saying, why is it that all the time that you have, not all the time that you have these meetings, they're not in zip code 301 where you want to, where a majority of the population that attend public school
Well,
attend.
let me say this because I just feel like patting my back today. Mr.
Yes.
Floyd, do you remember? Because I believe you attended. Do you remember the community social that was held at E.E. Smith?
What was that?
It was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, because that's the year that I got to work on the Fayetteville City Council. And
Mhm.
that my first order of business was to put together an event that encompassed
Yes.
all of the elected officials that served the people in Cumberland County. I made it informal, Mr. Floyd. They told me when me and my friend went to meet with Julian over at E.E. Smith to see if we could secure the spot. He said we do well to have 30 people show up.
Mhm.
I told him we gonna have at least 300. He said, if you do that, I'm gonna buy you pizza. Mr. He owes me a pizza. we
I can recall that. I attended.
and Mr. Floyd, and we did it in the community. We fed because I'm a believer that you do feed people. I think people, if you coming off from work and you come into an activity, feed me because I don't have time to handle all that. So I agree with you. But I'll say this: I'm okay with it being at Honeycutt because Honeycutt is a centralized hub for the city.
Okay, if you
It's
say so.
central to the north, the south, the east, and the west.
I just say you asked me and I just gave you my answer.
Well, the reason that's not happening is because we're not elected anymore, Mr. Floyd, because that's how we thought. We made it convenient for our constituency.
I mean, that's my concern. I mean, not criticizing it, but always look at myself, Tish.
Yeah.
Is where the activity is held.
And let me tell y'all need to show up. This is what I'm figuring out. Whether you have kids in these schools or not, you still need to show up because your tax dollars fund these activities, whether you have children or not. So you need to be showing up and you need to be making your voice heard. This is not just for parents. This is not just for parents with students in Cumberland County schools. This is for any resident of Cumberland County that wants to weigh in on how the school board is utilizing the resources that we are giving them to do the business of the community, right?
Well, yes, Tish. Let me say this to you. Of the $6.6 million, that $606 million that the school board gets, it come from the state. Okay,
Yeah, but that's still our
19%.
taxes.
Yeah, 19% of that money also the county gives. Now, don't think that you're not immune to supporting the school system, because if somebody rents you a house, you know, your tax is paid into
Okay.
that is paid to the school. Okay. If you buy one or you lease one, you're paying taxes. So you're also helping the school system. So don't say to us that I don't have no children in school. Doesn't matter. You're paying the tax.
Period.
Doesn't matter.
Because my two daughters have both graduated, and neither of them graduated from a public school. But I still, if I want to, get to show up because my money is paying for this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, if if you don't, if you are not paying it, I think it's set. I think it's January the 5th.
Hmm.
Your name will be posted by April the 15th.
I just told somebody the other day, we were talking about that. I said I used to pay my taxes late every year. The when you're on the city council, they may do this for you guys also. The clerk would come and pull us to the side and say they're getting ready to post the list, and they've given us a call to let us know who hasn't paid their taxes. So if you want to go ahead and take care of that, they cannot post you, and that
Yes.
would be my trigger to say I need to go ahead and pay these taxes.
Why not do it like the least of us do it when it comes out in September? Divide it into
I've
four.
become more responsible, Mr. Floyd. I'm now paying my taxes
No,
in a reasonable time frame.
divide it into four or
Yeah.
divide it into five and pay the taxes. And that's one thing I like about the county. It allows you to make payments towards the taxes instead of walking down there giving them all that money at
At
one
what
time.
time? Mr. Floyd, I'm gonna tell you, we're telling on ourselves. Let me tell you how I know we're telling on ourselves. Because people with mortgages, their taxes are broken up over the course
Yeah,
of the year. It's us people without these mortgages that get this tax bill at the end of the year.
yes, yes, yes. I mean,
So we telling on ourselves a little bit, but I'm just saying. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, buy a house don't have a mortgage on it, and see when that tax bill come, what that feel like at the end of the year.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. You you know, when you look at cash flow, not that you can't. Well, I'm not saying can't pay it, teach, but what I'm
Right.
saying, why give all your money at one time when you can pay it in increments, and
Yeah.
then you got more money to do other things to assist you in your lifestyle. So don't think that because you are renting that you have no obligation to the school system.
Right.
Okay, because 44% of the houses in Fayetteville are renters.
Yeah.
44%.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tish. So they pay taxes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some additional income because you were a proponent of this, and I'm still not cool with it, but let's talk about it. Since the legalization of sports betting in North Carolina in March of 2024, the state has collected substantial tax revenues from this new industry. An 18% tax on gross wagering revenue has generated significant funds. A
About
portion,
$100 million.
huh?
About $100 million.
$100 million, a portion of which is allocated, a portion, what portion? I don't know, is allocated to the public university athletic departments. Between March and December of 2024, 13 public universities collectively received over $21 million.
Mhm.
Where did the other $79 million from, Mr. Floyd?
I'm not sure about that, Tish,
Okay.
but I believe that is going to occur in 2026.
So each of those institutions received about $1.66 million.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Floyd, just as an overview, this was a General Assembly initiative. They enacted this legislation legalizing sports betting, and they determined the allocation of tax revenues, and it's their responsibility to set the tax rate and decide how the proceeds will be distributed. The North Carolina State Lottery Commission is the regulatory body that oversees the administration of sports betting in this state and ensures compliance with regulations. So, this allocation of sports betting tax revenue has provided a significant financial boost to athletic departments, particularly benefiting smaller institutions with limited revenue streams. So, talk a little bit about your perspective where that's concerned.
But Tish, not that I like gambling, but when you are in an organization, that provides services, you have to look at where you can generate revenue in order to keep the economy and the service that you're providing afloat.
Okay.
I think that this sport betting from March to December have brought in somewhere about $5 billion. I mean, that's the kind of money that has been spent on that. North Carolina, when they passed the statute, indicated that they will get 18% of that. Now, when you look at that, these 13 plus institutions will receive a portion of that money.
Okay.
Universal North Carolina and North Carolina State will not receive any of this money. But when we look at my
Mr.
institution,
Floyd, the University of North Carolina's athletic department
yes,
is not hurting for any money.
no, no, no. I mean, they showed that last week. They showed that last. I mean, well, a month or so ago,
Right.
when they hired the new football coach
Right.
with the contract that he had.
Right.
Now, when you look at smaller institutions and you look at Fayetteville State as an example, now Fayetteville State gets their money from student fee that they pay, and then they come from ticket sales at the games and donations.
Right.
So you can see there's no comparison to Fayetteville State and the University of North Carolina or North Carolina State and hypothetically Duke. So this money would help minority institutions like Elizabeth City, Winston-Salem, Elizabeth City, A&T, and North Carolina Central. It
Hmm.
will help these schools build their athletic program because students come to schools that have a good athletic program. I mean, when I was at Fayetteville State, we would go to the game because we know we're gonna lose.
Well, we showed a picture a while back, and you said I want everybody to notice the number of band members and the equipment that they have. And you talked about the value of the equipment on the field and
Yeah,
how that corresponds to an investment in the athletic department.
we're talking about when you see a bass, when how you tell how well a band and how well that band sound. Look at the on these in the grandstand, and you count the number of bass horns.
Yeah,
When you see like 24 or 26 bass horns, that's about anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000 a piece.
yeah,
That's so in a band, it's the bass. It's the same way like when you dance. I can't do it, but you dance to the bass.
right,
I mean, when you really dance, that's where the rhythm is carried.
right,
And so students like that. And so if you got a band of 25, you don't have a lot of student attendance.
right.
But if you invest and they need the money to invest, so not that I like the lottery. No, I mean sports betting. No, it's just like people love to drink cigarettes and love to smoke. If you want to drink cigarettes and you want to smoke, ban mine now. We collect tax off of it.
Yeah. I
I mean,
want to
I
do
don't
it.
do that though.
Right, right. I understand what you're saying. I want to give a shout out, and this is not a local or a state headline, but I still want to shout this out because it's a big deal to me and I think it's important. I want to congratulate the Colorado Buffalo football team because they have made significant academic improvements under the leadership of Dion Coach Prime Sanders. In 2023, the team's GPA was 2.932, which was the highest in the program's history at the time. In 2024, the team's GPA was the second highest of the program's history. And now, as of January 2025, the team's GPA surpassed 3.0 for the first time in the program's history. So I think that this is significant because even as we're talking about the investment into the athletic programs, we need to continue to remember that the first focus of an education is the academics. And so while these students are being primed, if you will, to be national level athletes, I appreciate the investment of their coaches into their academic experience. And so I just want to shout that out and say, good
Well,
job.
Tish, I want to congratulate you also on your saying when you move from 385 to 5 million. And what is out in Colorado, and some of the people saying that he should have stayed at what the Jackson State that he was at.
People need to mind their business.
I mean, now the difference between 5 million and 380 some thousand, and you promised me what you would pay me, but I still haven't gotten it. Okay.
Who didn't get what?
Well, he was promised to make a certain amount of money at the college that he, left.
Right, right,
And
right.
they did not honor that. Okay. So when Colorado said, "Oh, here's somebody I can give $5 million to," and now it seems to me that it's just about a no-brainer.
Yeah. And we can see that he comes with a benefit because not only is he encouraging good athletics, but he's also encouraging academic success. And that makes the school look good no matter how you slice it.
Well, it's the same thing with University of North Carolina when they did their contract with the Belichick. That's part of his contract is
Right.
academic.
Right.
So it's it's all it's all good. T. So don't be upset about the sports betting and this type thing. We got to look at how we can generate money and keep things afloat. And people are going to gamble whether we like it or not.
Well, I'm going to let you give your closing thoughts on today's show, sir.
I
I'm
just
going
want
to ask that you would do
thank
that, please.
I just want to say thanks to the city staff as being transparent. So we
Thank
can
you.
provide you some correction to the problem, but we can't address your flooding. And that's being honest to the people. But $8.8 million,
That's an expensive straw.
yeah,
That's one expensive straw. Mr.
Yes.
Floyd, tell us about your podcast on WIDU because I don't ever want to miss an
Well,
opportunity to plug what you got going on.
well, tomorrow we supposed to talk about does environmental racism exist in Cumberland County?
Hmm.
And so that's a subject matter.
What time should the people tune in?
8 o'clock.
8
8
a.m.
it doesn't exist. That's up to you. You look at the dish bowl and the landfill, and right down there close by where you come out here, they got about 12 railroad cars that with some type fuel in them.
Father, Father, Father. Well, my closing sentiments are I my brain just went blank. I know what my closing sentiments are. In all thy getting, get an understanding. So as you out here and you trying to get money and you trying to get wealth and you trying to get fame, trying to blow up on TikTok or whatever, in all you're getting, as you are in the pursuit of all of the things that you are pursuing, pursue understanding. We exist to make understanding politics simpler. So if you want to understand what is happening politically in your community, tune in with us. If you want to be abreast of how you can communicate your concerns to your local elected body, tune in with us. And if you just want a good chuckle here and there, tune in with us because Mr. Floyd is funny. I don't care what anybody say. He has an excellent sense of humor and he's hilarious. And with that, I will ask that you like, share, subscribe, follow, tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear Mr. Floyd on WIDU with his co-host. And Floyd, if you don't have anything else, I don't have anything else.
Just have a wonderful week ahead of you.
Then we'll catch you on
Hopefully
the
we get
next.
some more snow, but we won't.
I hope we don't. We'll catch you on the next episode. Oh. All right, sir.
All right, T. Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a wonderful day.
You too.